This is an awareness of breath mindfulness practice. So before we begin, just take a few moments to ensure that you have the protected space, the environment, to commit to this time for some self-care, some self-nurture. So checking that your phone is off or on silent, that you're unlikely to be disturbed, and that you're really giving yourself the opportunity to rest in awareness for the duration of this track. So making any fine adjustments to the volume or for your own comfort. And now making the conscious transition from wherever it is that you've been in the mind and body to this present moment. Bringing attention to your posture. So if you're seated, settling into a position where your spine is straight but not strained, where it can be aligned over your pelvis, and where your neck and shoulders can be relaxed. You may find it helpful to imagine a thread attached to the back of your head, pulling you gently up at the crown, and then your chin tucked in just a little. And notice how both feet are planted firmly on the floor, and then your hands resting in your lap, palms facing up or down, whichever feels right for you. Just embodying that upright, dignified position where you are connected and rooted to the ground and rising up from this steady base. If you are in a reclined position, you may wish to prop yourself up just a little with some cushions, and then really feel how the body is being supported and held by the surfaces surrounding it. So this awareness of breath practice is based on the idea that the breath is always available to us. This constant rhythmic process that we can always tune into. We can always turn our attention towards to help us feel steady and grounded. Very often we don't pay attention to the breath or notice how it is happening or changing. This all goes on outside of our conscious awareness. And in this practice, the invitation is to turn our attention towards the breath, to become more attuned to the process of breathing as it takes place in the body. And resting our attention in a way that involves a kind curiosity and an openness to experience what is there to be experienced. So sometimes when we're struggling in some way, perhaps feeling exhausted, overwhelmed, anxious, there can be secondary motivations to engaging in these practices. Perhaps a desire to relieve suffering, to feel better, or to achieve a particular outcome. Just for a moment, check in whether this is true for you at all. And it's perfectly natural to have these motivations. Just see if it's possible to acknowledge they're here, and then allow them to move to the background of the mind, and choosing to engage with the primary intention for this practice, which is just to be with the breath in the body in the present moment, and be open to responding to your unfolding experiences with curiosity and compassion. And bringing attention now to your experiences as you sit or lie here in this moment. So noticing any thoughts that might be expressing themselves, whether these are pleasant, unpleasant, neutral. Acknowledge these, make some space for them, and allow them to be just as they are. Noticing what the mind is doing. Is it busy, preoccupied? Or perhaps there's a stillness. notice feelings, sensations that show up in the body, areas of tension, tightness. How is this being held? And notice any emotional responses that are here and where you connect with these feelings in the body. So now use your attention to discover where you connect with the breath as it's taking place in the body. So sometimes doing this feels almost like connecting with an old friend. It's reassuring, comforting, finding that the breath is available to us. Sometimes it can also be uncomfortable, and particularly so if being with your moment-to-moment experience has become quite difficult, perhaps over time. If this is true for you, the more you practice finding and connecting with the reliable and steady rhythm of the breath, the more accessible it will be. You may be able to befriend the breath. So getting in touch with the breath as you experience it in this moment. Perhaps this is in the lower abdomen, and you find you can rest your attention on each in-breath and each out-breath as one unfolds after another. See if you can follow from the very beginning of the in-breath all the way to the bottom of the out-breath, and notice how the belly rises and falls. You may wish to place your hands on your abdomen to support this connection, to deepen your awareness of the breath here. Perhaps for you the breath is experienced more at the tip of the nose, at the nostrils, as the air enters and leaves, with a slight change in temperature, perhaps a little cooler with the inhale, a little warmer with the exhale. Perhaps there's a strong sensation here, or only a very gentle sensation. Just spend a moment or two to see how it is to observe the qualities of the breath at the tip of the nose. Perhaps you can notice the breath in the upper body, in the shoulders, the chest region. Just for a moment to see how it is to notice the breathing process in this area. Perhaps following the rise and the fall of the shoulders with each in-breath and each out-breath. So having now explored the different regions of the body where the breath can be discovered, out of the 3 places, the lower abdomen, shoulders, tip of the nose, choose your anchor for attention at this time. Where do you most vividly, most comfortably connect with the breath? And then the invitation here is to really focus attention on the sensations of the breath in this area of the body. So we're not trying to change anything or to alter the breath in any way. We're getting up close alongside the breath and resting our attention on the rhythmic process of each inhale and each exhale. You may notice that the mind sometimes, or perhaps often, wanders away from the process of breathing. And when this happens, See if you can acknowledge this and gently but firmly bring your attention back to the breath. So this is all part of mindfulness practice. Noticing where the mind has gone and reconnecting with the purpose of this practice, which is just to rest awareness on the breath. And remembering if you need to unhook from thoughts quite often, this is perfectly normal. This is just what human minds do. It's not an indication that you are unable to practice or that you're getting it wrong. So continuing to follow each in-breath, each out-breath, and all the sensations that go with the process of breathing. Anytime the mind wanders to the past, to the future, gets distracted, noticing this and then making the decision to unhook from where it has been caught, to turn attention away from here and redirect it back to the anchor of the breath. Relating to mind wandering in the same way that you might guide a wandering child back to your side with kindness and a firm hold. As you develop an awareness, an appreciation of the breath in the body, you can connect more with how the breath functions to provide you with life, with energy, taking in oxygen and then releasing carbon dioxide, toxins, what is no longer needed. All of this happening outside of your awareness and outside of your conscious control. And yet always a process that's available to you if you choose to tap into it. So for a few more moments, continuing to rest attention on the natural flow of the breath, your anchor, using your attention to maintain focused awareness. And as this practice comes towards the end, see if it's possible to extend some gratitude towards yourself for spending this time nurturing your skills for self-care, your capacity to use your attention in a way that supports your well-being. And now expanding your awareness out to take in your whole body breathing. Notice how it feels to breathe with the whole body, including your thoughts, feelings, sensations, sounds, a sense of being here in the environment that you're in. And for the last few moments, really breathe with these experiences. And then in your own time, your own way, maybe with a gentle wiggle of the fingers, or pushing your feet into the floor, or taking a big stretch, find your way of coming back into the room and reconnecting with your environment, with what it is that you'll be doing next, and seeing if it's possible to take forward a sense of groundedness provided to you simply by the awareness of breath.